that. Like, he's still for, he's still pro-choice.
Yeah, he
You
is.
know what I'm saying? He's still pro-choice. And
that includes, and you saw this, it was a big deal over the last few days, that includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. You've been seeing killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into today's video, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to the New Nation for our new format and the way that we're going to post videos on this channel, where I pull clips from the world of politics, culture, and theology, and I sort of react to them. I also want to say the best way to support this channel is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and in addition to that, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/thenewNation. You're able to contribute anywhere from $5, $10 to $25. I'm being censored by social media overlords where my content is being taken down and my monetization is being disabled. So buymeacoffee.com/thenewNation, and also like, subscribe, and I don't know, hit this bell, hit the notification bell. So the goal of this video isn't really to sway your opinion on who you should vote for. The goal of this video is just to give this objective view about Donald Trump on abortion. Is he pro-choice or is he pro-life? And when we get into this video, you're going to see that one of these positions is really his true position. So let's start off with the Amber Rose video on Aiden Ross's stream.
Amber, do you have any questions or any topics that you think I should discuss with President Trump on the live stream?
yeah, I said on the Candace Owens interview, I was like, Trump is not very conservative. There's a lot of like super far right conservatives, and I think that is the misconception on the left, that he is like this super militant far right, conservative. He's not. He's very realistic about everything. And so I think, maybe you can have him talk about that. Like, he's still for, he's still pro-choice.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I'm saying? He's still pro-choice. And I think a lot of people don't understand, because I get a lot of DMs of like, which is so crazy, white supremacists, walking in like Tennessee and having.
Now, Amber Rose says it herself, and Amber Rose isn't a conservative. She's not even a Republican, I would say. I think she's just this person who is, I don't know if I want to say found her grift. I don't want to cast judgment on her saying that she's found a new grift, but maybe she's, discovered the lies that the mainstream media has told her about Donald Trump. And one of those lies is, that he's a racist. She mentioned that he's a racist. When she looked into it, she said, no, she can't be a racist. But one of the things that she says out of her own mouth is, she says he's not very conservative. He's pro-choice. And when we have to look at Donald Trump's positions on the right to life, he kind of is pro-choice. And this is by his own words. Okay, let's start with IVF.
Under my leadership, the Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, healthy American families. We're supporting America First, a little thing called America First. We want to make it easier for mothers and fathers to have babies, not harder. You know that. That includes, and you saw this, it was a big deal over the last few days, that includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. You've been seeing Alabama. It's been a big story. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republican, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious little beautiful baby. I support it. And today I'm calling on the Alabama legislature to act quickly to find an immediate solution to preserve the availability of IVF in Alabama, and I'm sure they're going to do that. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers and fathers and beautiful little babies. Have to be on that side.
What is IVF? It's in vitro fertilization. It is a synthetic way to create a human being. And what it does is it takes sperm and it takes eggs, it takes sperm from men, it takes eggs from the women, it combines them in a lab, and embryos are created. Embryos are what grows in the womb and eventually become a baby, but embryos are unique human beings with their own unique DNA. In IVF, what's really being done is they're choosing the embryo to implant into the womb. So out of all the embryos that are created, most of them, if not the majority of them, will be discarded. These human lives will be thrown away effectively. So Trump talks about, in this clip, he talks about the ability of parents being able to have beautiful little babies while ignoring the beautiful little babies who will be discarded like trash. This is not the pro-life position. The pro-life, and specifically the Catholic position, is to be against IVF. And we can look at a particular paragraph from the Catechism of the Catholic Church regarding IVF. This is paragraph 2375. Research aimed at reducing human sterility is to be encouraged on condition that it is placed, quote, at the service of the human person, of his inalienable rights, and is true and integral good according to the design and will of God. IVF is in direct contrast of this, because IVF is not at the service of the human person and of his inalienable rights, because that person will be discarded. That person will not be afforded the right to life. So Trump says that the GOP or the Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life. Well, with IVF specifically, how can you say that when you're ignoring the lives that are being thrown out in favor of the one life that might get implanted and that might survive in the womb? Now let's move on to his position on abortion.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected.
Donald Trump has said repeatedly that he will not put a ban on the abortion pill. Clearly not a pro-life position. Donald Trump has also said multiple times, as seen in this clip, that he believes in the exceptions to abortion, and those exceptions are rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Those, as well, are not pro-life positions. Within the Catholic Church, especially, and the overall pro-life community, we don't see those exceptions as a reason good enough to terminate the life of an unborn child, because that life of the unborn child is innocent. It hasn't done anything to deserve a death sentence. Also, Donald Trump is not in favor of a nationwide ban. He's also in favor of abortion, I believe, up to 8 weeks or up to 12 weeks, which kind of is in direct opposition of the word pro-life. So you're pro-life, but only up until a certain amount of time. That's not pro-life to me. And Trump also likes to talk about how he was the guy who brought the abortion position or the abortion decision back to the states. If you believe that abortion is fundamentally evil and is the fundamental murder of an unborn child, then what good is throwing it back to the states? If anything, the job of the government is to make laws that will preserve the right to life for its citizens. And giving it back to the states is saying, okay, you states, you decide on this, and some states are going to allow abortion and some states aren't going allowed to it. There should be a blanket ban on abortion. If you are pro-life person, if you are an anti-abortion person, this whole we're going to throw it back to the states is a very libertarian point of view. It's not conservative whatsoever. So you ask yourself, is Donald Trump a conservative? Well, how can he be a conservative if he can't even conserve the most important part of life, which is existing in the first place? I don't think he can call himself a conservative. Can he call himself pro-life? I don't think so. Now, he may be the first president that has spoken at a March for Life rally. He has maybe been the first president to be this vocally, I don't know, quote unquote, against abortion. But when you look at his positions, whether it's IVF and whether it's abortion, not banning the abortion pill, allowing abortions for exceptions and allowing abortions up to certain time periods, I don't necessarily think that Donald Trump is a pro-life president or candidate. What do you guys think? Talk about it in the discussion. We'll see you next time.